In this video, we are going to look how weather changes during a year. In order to understand this phenomena, firstly we have to look at some basic terms. Our Earth has nearly a circular shape. The imaginary line that divides the Earth into two parts horizontally called equator. Another term, that is axis of rotation, is an imaginary line around which Earth rotates just like a spinning top called axis of rotation. As we know that Earth also possesses a magnetic field whose north and south poles are shown. So the part of Earth which is above the equator called northern hemisphere, and a part of Earth which is below the equator called southern hemisphere. Now let's come to the main point. In order to learn the phenomena of weather change, we have to know how Earth revolves around the Sun and rotates around itself. The axis of rotation of Earth is not perpendicular with respect to Sun. If it is so, the whole Earth would be an equal day and night length. Axis of rotation of Earth is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees towards the Sun. This angle is responsible for the weather change. Let's see how. Well, Earth revolves around the Sun nearly in an elliptical orbit, which has Sun at one of its foci. Earth takes 365 days to complete one revolution, called orbit, and it takes 24 hours to complete one cycle around itself. A point in an orbit where Earth is closer to the Sun is called perihelion. The shortest distance from Earth to Sun is 91.4 million miles. The point in an orbit where the Earth is far away from the Sun is called aphelion. The greatest distance from Earth to Sun is 94.5 million miles. The weather on an Earth doesn't depend upon the Earth's position in an orbit. It is dependent on a tilted angle. During late December or in the start of the January, Earth is very close to the Sun, and because of its tilted angle towards the Sun causes more sunlight to fall on the southern hemisphere as compared to the northern hemisphere. In other words, because of the southern hemisphere is closer to the Sun as compared to the northern hemisphere, light intensity is much greater in southern hemisphere as compared to the northern hemisphere. This causes the summer in southern hemisphere and winter in northern hemisphere. During June, the Earth is at greatest distance from the Sun. At this position, the northern hemisphere is close to the Sun as compared to the southern hemisphere. It causes more light fall on the northern hemisphere as compared to the southern hemisphere. In this month, northern hemisphere experience summer and southern hemisphere experience winter. Now, let's look at the position of Earth in January and June in more detail. As in January, Sun is at the left side of the Earth, and because of the Earth position, Sun rays hit the large area of southern hemisphere and a small area of northern hemisphere. And due to this, the countries in the northern hemisphere experience winter and the countries in southern hemisphere experience summer. During these months, days are smaller and nights are longer in northern hemisphere, and similarly, days are longer and nights are smaller in southern hemisphere. Now, in June, the Earth positioned itself in a way that the Sun is at the right side of the Earth. This causes more sunlight fall on the northern hemisphere and less sunlight fall on the southern hemisphere. So in this month, countries in the northern hemisphere experience summer and the countries in southern hemisphere experience winter. During this month, days are longer and nights are smaller in northern hemisphere, since similarly, days are smaller and nights are longer in southern hemisphere. During March and September, the Earth has almost equal days and night lengths because of its position in an orbit. After watching this video, I hope you had learned how weather changes during a year. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.